Hello everyone, welcome back to Mom's Precious. I'm Snehal, a mother of two, trying my best to help you. Today is going to be a super chaotic, super exciting day because we are here at one of the coolest places in Mumbai for kids, that is KidZania at our city mall Ghatkopar. Now if you're coming for the first time, don't worry about getting confused at the entry gates. They have clearly mentioned all the ticket prices and shift timings right at the entrance on massive screens, so you can easily double check everything before you head to the counter. When you get to the counter, feel free to ask the staff to brief you on how the whole city works. They are super helpful and will happily explain how the KidZo's currencies work, where to start, and how to make the most of your shift. So when we asked for a briefing, the staff gave us the perfect breakdown. They mentioned there are 31 activities specifically for toddlers and over 100 activities for kids aged 4 and above. So if you're thinking your little ones are too young to enjoy this place, think again. There is so much for them to do. Now if we talk about the damage done to the wallet, our total was 2,950 rupees. That price included 2 toddler passes and 2 adult passes for the entire shift. Seeing how much the kids learned and enjoyed, it honestly feels like a great value for money deal. The KidZania entrance has a realistic international airport feel. There was even a massive India map showing various flight routes, which gets the kids so excited because it feels like you are literally boarding a plane to travel to a brand new city. As a part of the whole airport check-in experience, the kids got their first check of 30 rupees right at the entrance. This is their starting capital for the day, which they get to take into the city and cash at the bank. Watching them hold onto their little checks so carefully was just the cutest thing. To wrap up the whole check-in process, we got RFID security bands buckled onto our wrists. These tech wristbands map the kids directly to the parents, meaning no child can exit the city without their family. It's an amazing safety feature that lets you relax and enjoy the day completely stress-free. And just like that, we crossed the gates and we officially entered the city. Wow! Walking in feels absolutely magical. It is literal miniature world with paved streets, shop fronts and cars all perfectly scaled down for the little ones. The kids' eyes just lit up. Our very first stop inside the city was the Bandhan Bank. Before the kids could do anything else, they had to take their 30 rupee welcome checks to the counter to cash them out. It was so adorable watching them stand at the mini teller window, learning how a real bank works for the very first time. Just look at how my 3-year-old girl is feeling the currency, which is called KidZo's. It was the absolute sweetest thing. Just look at this place. It is an entire miniature world built inside. Our first stop was the fire department. Fire department is hands down the most famous, high energy and exciting activity in the entire city. Every single kid wants to do this. The kids had to stand in a queue for the next cycle to begin, so we took that time to brief our kids on what was coming next. Once inside, the kids were briefed by the supervisor and had their RFID bands tracked for the activity. Scanning the wristbands is how the city registers their shift and tracks their earnings. It was amazing to see how quickly the little ones adapted to the whole high-tech system. The transformation is complete. The kids geared up in their official helmets and jackets and they look 100% ready for duty. They had instantly switched into a serious excitement because next the kids sat on the fire truck. They climbed right in, held onto the safety bars and took their seats like absolute pros. Hearing the sirens blaring, their faces completely lit up with pure joy. The truck pulled up to the scene and the kids got down to use the hose. They stood right there on the street, aimed their water jets at the burning hotel windows and worked together to put out the fire. Seeing them handle those real water hoses with so much focus was incredible. A quick heads up, for some premium activities like the fire department, you have to pay 15 KidZos from your kid's wallet. With our firefighter mission once completed, we headed straight to the valuable cargo depot. Since we spent some cash at the fire station, it was time for the kids to earn it back. They got recruited as mini delivery professionals, loaded up their little trolley with packages. and set out across the city streets to deliver valuable cargo. For this job, they had been asked to deliver currency packets to 3 different departments and get their signatures. Talk about a high responsibility mission. They had to navigate the streets, find the right shops, safely hand over the cash packets and make sure the managers signed off on the delivery receipt. They were taking it so seriously. Watching them march around with the clipboard and the trolley, I could see how slowly they were gaining confidence. At the start of the day, they were holding my hand tightly, unsure of this big city. But by this second activity, they were stepping up on counters, handing over packages and interacting with the staff all on their own. As a mother, watching that little spark of independence grow is the most rewarding feeling in the world. They went from being shy in a new environment to proudly managing a delivery route and asking for signatures like absolute pros. After successfully delivering all those currency packets, the instructor handed them the crisp new KidZo's notes. Seeing them hold their own hard-earned money was such a proud official moment. Day on the job was a massive success. Since they got paid their first salary, in order to celebrate, we had a quick snack break. You can't run a city on an empty stomach, right? Our next stop was the painting studio. The kids chose wall painting and the process was so cool. They got to sketch the walls with sketch pens to lay down their designs. It was an amazing sensory practice for them. After finishing up their beautiful wall art, the instructor handed them another round of KidZos. Their little wallets are officially bursting at the seams now. I must say they are turning into absolute pros at managing their own income. Next, we headed to the medical emergency room where the kids wore the aprons and pics were clicked. Seriously, seeing them in those tiny doctor coats was worth the whole trip alone. While they were being briefed by the instructors, my 4-year-old son was raising his hand to answer questions. Oh my goodness, my heart just completely melted. Seeing him sit there so confidently in his little doctor apron, eagerly participating and wanting to help out was just amazing. Code blue, it's time to roll. They are heading out into the KidZania streets with the sirens wailing to handle their very first rescue mission. Let's follow them and see how they do. The little doctor successfully saved the day, and after completion they marched right back to the hospital station, handed their doctor coats and collected their well-deserved KidZos from the instructor. Their medical wallets are officially overflowing now. Alright people, our little earners are switching gears from medicine to manufacturing. We headed to the Parle factory next. The kids are putting on fresh factory uniforms to become mini biscuit makers for the day. Let's have a look at the step-by-step process of how these iconic biscuits come to life. People often ask if these setups are just for show, but the Parle factory here is completely real. It's a scaled-down version of a real production line. The ingredients, the baking concepts, and that awesome moving conveyor belt are all designed to show kids exactly how a real factory operates. It is edutainment at its absolute best. And then came the best part of the whole factory tour. The instructor asked the kids to collect the packet right off the moving conveyor belt. Seeing their little hands reach out to claim their very biscuits they just learned to bake was so special. They were incredibly proud to hold the delicious, hard-earned reward. Innocence is bliss. My kids were returning the biscuits thinking they had to give them back like everything else. Talk about a real factory experience. Before anything left the station, the biscuits were weighed and then given to the kids as their official reward. This shows what truly matters to a child. They spend the whole day working hard and collecting KidZos. But more than the salary, it were the biscuits that made them happy. Forget the money, those freshly packed biscuits of Parle-G were the absolute ultimate prize in their eyes. Next up, we headed over to the dental care clinic. The kids suited up, wore their dentist coats, and sat down to get briefed by the instructor on how to take care of teeth. But the best part? They got a complete hands-on experience on a patient made of clay. They were using the little dental mirrors and tools to check the clay patient's teeth like absolute professionals. Look at how intensely focused they are. They take their dentistry very seriously. One of the best things that happened was while they were inspecting the teeth, my kids were actually recalling their own dentist. They were saying things like, "Oh, this is just like what my doctor does." It completely blew me away how they connected the dots between this game and their real life. They were totally in their element. The dental clinic was an absolute hit. And of course, they were paid right at the end for doing such an amazing surgery. Their little wallets are getting seriously heavy now. They love the feeling of finishing a task and at last we headed to the KidZania department store where we could buy things from the kidzos they earned. But my husband made a really sweet call. He decided to preserve the currency as a memory. Those little paper notes are just too precious to part with. They represent so much innocence, hard work, and core family memories from today. So, we are taking them home after spending 5 hours. Our first big city adventure has officially come to an end. It's true that it is impossible to cover all activities in one go. But if you ask me, is all of this even worth? Hell yes. It is hands down one of the best experiences you can give your children. And finally, we took the immigration exit and headed home with heavy pockets of memories and very happy hearts. If you found the video helpful, do like, share and subscribe and hit the bell icon. Thank you.